Hey everybody, it's OldskoolHeart back with another video for you guys. This is going to be episode 1 of my new series entitled Leaving Sunday. Episode 1 is going to be called Your God, Your Faith. So just to give you a little background on Leaving Sunday. Leaving Sunday is going to be about my spiritual journey leaving the church and trying to figure out how to have a relationship with God. This is going to be for people who are tired of church, who have a little bit of church hurt, who don't have time for church, especially those of you guys who are LGBTQ, and like Dave Chappelle said, all the other alphabets. This will especially be for you if you have a hard time sitting in church because of some of the things you hear and the way that you're treated. This is for people who are Mormons. This is for people who are Muslims, Jehovah's Witness. This is going to be walking through your spiritual journey alone outside of the organization that you have been a part of that meets regularly. And so Leaving Sunday is just going to be an exploration on how to develop a strong spiritual life and how to connect with others who want to do the same. So just to give you guys a little bit of a disclaimer before I begin episode 1's title, let me just give a disclaimer really quickly. If you love church, if you're productive in church, if you've always been able to succeed in church, church has helped you out quite a bit. You grew up in church, there's no other place that you'd rather live out your faith. I want to say, I want you to keep doing that. This is not a place where I will bash the church or bash people who attend church. That is just a disclaimer. I learned a long time ago from watching the Iyanla Vanzant's Fix My Life with Leandria Johnson. The one thing that she told her was, don't bash what works for people. If there are people that it works for and it does not work for you, that means that you go on about your way and let them continue to thrive their way. Do not bash them. Do not speak bad about them. Do not call them stupid. You do your thing, they'll do their thing. And so that's the mentality that I've come with, and that's where I'm going to stay. And so this is not a bash church. If you have experiences that you want to talk about, most definitely we can. But my goal is to not tell you not to go to church if it's working for you. If it's working for you, God bless you. Enjoy your church service. So that is just a little disclaimer, and I'll probably say that for the first couple of episodes. So a lot of you guys know me from sitting in your pew, where I went around Chicago and I reviewed mega churches, well-known churches. All of those are still here. I'm not going to get rid of those. That was a part of my life where I was exploring. I enjoyed it, and I'm keeping those up for anybody to see. You can go back and watch them and give your comments, dislikes, likes, whatever you want to do. So now when I was doing sitting in your pew, I got quite a couple of people who made a little comment that now makes so much sense to me. They were saying the more churches that you go and review, the more that you are going to dislike church. And I was like, you got to be kidding. I was raised in church. I know all about church. I love church. It's not going to hinder anything. It's going to draw me closer. It's going to help me make wiser decisions about where I go and who I let speak into my life. I just knew it all. And the more that I went to church, the more that I went into somebody else's building, the less I was interested. And that's for a number of reasons. Some of that 20% could be my fault. 80% could be theirs, but I knew there was something in the back of my mind telling me that I wasn't really going to be going to church very long. And it's so funny that, I feel like that was coming from God, that there was some other thing that he wanted me to do, and I needed to pay attention to that. And so at the beginning of 2019, I got a life coach. And one of the biggest things that the life coach asked me was, Tiffany, what is it that you don't like? What is it that you do like? What is it that you want to do? And the thing that kept coming up for me was, I'm not sure that I want to be in a church organization. I'm not sure that I want to do this anymore. I want everybody to experience Jesus and God in freedom. And I feel like being a part of church is kind of hurting that. And I just keep feeling like that's hard for me to do with the things that I'm starting to learn about and starting to feel very passionate about my feelings toward God, especially about LGBTQ people and just church hurt people and everything. And so she was like, okay, you keep talking about this. We need to make something happen. So she gave me a deadline. And the deadline was, by the end of August, you need to let the people that you work around know that you will not be attending church anymore and that you're going off to do other things. Completely scared me. I did not know what to do. I was totally not really prepared, because it was wrapped in how I felt about tradition and my life as I knew it. I really loved the people that I was at church with and I was working with, and I did not want to hurt their feelings. It was wrapped up in other people's opinions. It was wrapped up in what people would say, and so many other things that come with being a church girl all your life and then saying, I don't want to be involved in church anymore. It was wrapped in all of that, and I was just pushing it off and didn't want to tell them. But it's so strange how God works, and this is how I know that it's God, because I got an email for a job that I applied for months ago, saying, come do the interview. So I did go. I did the interview. It was in another state. I didn't think that I would be hired as quickly as I did. I was hired. They gave me a month to move, which is very unlikely. A whole month to just pack up and do what I needed to do, finish my old job. And so everything was just moving smoothly. Like, I had enough money. I got to go home for 2 weeks and be with my family. I got to explore the area before I started my job. Just everything moved by smoothly. And so I knew that it was from God. And I knew this was an opportunity to start my own spiritual journey and to just evolve and just learn some things and do some things that I wanted to do. You guys don't understand. When my life coach asked me, well, if you don't go to church, what would you do? And just my face lit up. Like, I was so excited. I was like, I'll read a book, I'll do my YouTube page, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this. And so episode 1 is Your God, Your Faith. And so I'm going to get to that really quickly. I'm going to end this video, and then we're going to build on every episode with different things that we can do to enhance our spiritual journey, to be around other people. I got a whole list of things that are going to happen as we go through each episode. So, Your God, Your Faith. I just want to say, and this is my first disclaimer, be wary of people who come off well, but don't necessarily have the right advice. Especially those who want to throw scripture in your face when you say that you're on a spiritual journey and that you're not in the church. They're going to wrap Hebrews 10 and 25 in your face and going to say, the Bible say don't neglect the assembling of yourselves. Don't forsake the assembling of yourselves. Please let those people know that there is so much more to that chapter. There's so much more to that verse, and that you are not going to be bullied, punked, or misled by that misinterpreted scripture. A lot of people in the Black community, and I don't know about the mosque, I don't know about other faiths since this is open to everybody, but that is a scripture that is used widely to punk people into coming to church and make them feel bad about not going to church, make them feel like they're going to hell. That whole scripture, that whole chapter, that whole biblical biblical book, Hebrews, is based on people, a group of people who were being severely persecuted for their faith. They were being alienated, they were being beaten, they were being there were so many things happening. And so if you're being beat, if you're being hurt, if you're being whatever, of course, you're going to remove yourself from the situation. You're not going to deal anymore. And that's what was happening. So Paul was telling them, hey, I know it's a lot going on, but you guys have maintained, you guys have spoke up about your faith. And, I just want to make sure you guys know to just maintain that, stay strong. And so that's what that scripture was for. And yes, that scripture does mean to come together. But coming together can mean Starbucks coffee with somebody. Coming together can mean having a good talk about your faith with somebody on the phone. Coming together can mean being in a small group setting. It's so many things to that, but it's your God, your faith. You're allowed to make up the rules that you want. That's going to help you be productive. That's going to help you love on people. That's going to help you forgive and ask for forgiveness. That's going to help you be promoted in your job. That's going to help all of that come to fruition. It's your God, it's your faith. So that is my disclaimer for you guys. As you start this journey, I am going to, and I hope that you will be too, assessing what church has done for you in the past year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I love evaluations. I always tell people to evaluate their situation, to assess their situation, to write it down so that you can get a look at it and decide where to go from there. So one of the things I wanted to do was to see if you guys could assess your situation. I have a little bit of questions, so I'm going to be reading those off. I said, ask yourself what's important to you. What's important to you? As you take a spiritual journey, you want to ask, even if you are in church, what's important to you? What's important for you to know? What's important for you to do? What do you want to become? So that's something that, as you start this journey, you need to be asking yourself, what's important to yourself? Ask yourself, are you growing in your current faith area? And by growing, are you motivated to have a relationship with God personally? Do you have a relationship with God personally, or do you use the church as a personal crutch? I know a lot of people who do. They consider just the church their spiritual journey. They don't do anything outside of it. They don't look at the Bible. They don't look at the Quran. They don't look at anything. They rely solely on the church. And that can be a problem because then you don't really have a relationship. You have a commitment toward a building and people. So just ask yourself these types of questions. Also, as you do that, you have to ask yourself, is this all wrapped up in tradition and what people say? Is your being in the church wrapped up in the fact that you've been to church your whole life and you just don't know anything different? And you're scared of whatever's out there, and you're scared that you're going to lose your faith by doing something different. That's a huge question that I had to ask myself. A lot of the things that I do that are involved in church is basically just tradition, and a lot of that is wrapped in who I am, and exploring and assessing who I am is hurtful, it's painful, it's unnerving, it's a lot of things, because then you got to ask yourself, who am I? Like, what am I about? And so I just wanted to make sure you guys are asking yourself these types of questions. One of the other things is, what could you be doing to help yourself spiritually and overall, I don't know what I wrote here, whatever. What could you be doing to help yourself spiritually right now? What could you be doing spiritually? Could you be reading a book that you've been wanting to read? Could you be in a certain chapter that you wanted to read? Is there some things that you've been wanting to know, but because your pastor said that you guys are going to be in tithing for the month, that's where you've been. Now, you do have time outside of the Sunday to figure that all out, but what I am getting at is there are some times in our lives where we're in a spot where what God is trying to teach us is totally different from the outline or the plan that is going on in the church. And sometimes you have to really step away from that and really hear what God is saying, and go with what he's saying and what he's doing at the moment. And so he may be doing that with you if you are a Christian or a Muslim or whatever you are. He may be having you step away so that you can assess and grow in some things as well. So, I mean, there's so many things that you can evaluate as you go on your spiritual journey. And really deciding on if the place that you have been worshiping at is where you need to be. Is it helping you grow? Are you committed to what they're doing there and the people that are there? A lot of times we wrap this in emotion so much instead of what it should be, that is your relationship with God. And when you wrap things in emotions, it either begs for you to stay or it screams for you to leave. Even when you're not really wanting to do so. And so this is just episode 1, just assessing everything, evaluating everything. What's your purpose? What does God want you to do? What could you be doing in the meantime? Could you be starting a business? Could you be spending more time with your kids? Could you be working some financial things out during that time? If the only reason why you are going to church is out of obligation, there's no real reason to go. And so hopefully this will help you make a good decision, or if not anything, it'll help you grow closer in yourself and your faith. So your God, your faith, work that out. Don't let anybody punk you out. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do anything. And so let's just go on this spiritual journey together. I've been talking for quite some time, but I knew it was going to be a long time. It's me. So I hope that you have enjoyed this first episode. I hope that you know that your spiritual journey is very fragile and is dependent upon what you feed your spirit with, what you feed your life with, who you let pour into your life, what things you let pour into your life. So episode 2 is going to be in 2 weeks. Next week my grandmother will be turning 80 years old, so I will be back in Chicago celebrating with her and the family. Happy birthday, Grandma. Love you so very much. So episode 2 will be in 2 weeks. Please share this video. Please like this video. Please thumbs up this video. And I hope you guys have a very good week. I have some other videos that are gonna be coming out very soon. A wig video. I'm finally gonna do another wig video. I haven't done one in a while. And so I bought another wig, and somebody asked me, like, why haven't you done a wig video? So I'm gonna do a wig video. So I hope that you have a wonderful Sunday, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you.